Our Holy Father has given us a great gift, a year of mercy, a year of compassion, a year of mercy that everyone should be reaching deep into their hearts to be able to share the gift God gave them, especially inspiring children through kindness. That's what my guests are going to, I was going to say, are hoping to accomplish. They're going to accomplish with their book, Beyond the Laces. The theme of the book is to inspire through kindness and encourage children to never give up. Nothing better. Welcome to the Catholic Corner.
Thank you very much.
I'm Monsignor Walter Nolan, and my guest today, Bob Solomon, the author of Beyond the Laces, the retired New Jersey State Corrections Officer. And for that, we thank you also. God bless you. He's always had a passion for youth sports and working with children. This isn't the first book that Bob has affiliated himself with. He also worked with the award-winning children's book, A Glove of Their Own, creating and publishing a pay-it-forward movement surrounding the book's theme. In 2009, Bob established the Julie LLC, which brings together professional athletes and a variety of organizations to promote projects that inspire our youth and benefit community outreach benefits. Bob and his wife, they have 2 children of their own, and they're good parishioners at St. William the Abbot Parish in Howell, New Jersey. His buddy, his friend, his neighbor, Rick Young, co-author of Beyond the Laces, is also the author of Combat Police, U.S. Military Police in Vietnam. Thanks a lot for your service.
Thank you.
He's also a co-author with Michael Baliag of the fantasy adventure Aiden's Cauldron Trilogy. Rick's retired senior special agent with over 28 years experience in the federal law enforcement, including an extended tour of combat duty in Vietnam. Say a prayer for all these guys.
Amen.
Amen.
As a military policeman, he's got a master's degree in organizational leadership from Karn University. Currently retired, even though real young. Rick's a pastor at Redeemer Fellowship in Toms River, New Jersey. Gentlemen, welcome to the Catholic Corner.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
My heart right away reaches out to both of you.
Thank you.
So listen, where do we start? How about telling me where did the idea come from, writing a book Beyond the Laces? And how did both of you get together to work on this project?
Well, it all started with me being a Little League coach, strictly just there for the kids and really enjoying the game. And I realized that youth sports, they have such an impact on our kids, even our parents. So what better way to bring out kindness, love, faith on the back of sports? And that was the vision through the journey. And, when I put this team together to help me really bring this to life, I wanted a team that had faith, had kindness, and really lived for the movement that we were going to create. And that's when I found Rick Young. But prior to meeting him, I searched all over looking for the right fit. And ironically, he lived right across the street from me.
So you backed out of your garage and
There he is, right in front of my house. Amazing, right?
You both got my heart. I've said this for years. Kids got to learn a lot in the classrooms, but there's so much they learn on a field or up on a stage or whatever they're going to be involved with each other that they don't learn in the classroom.
That's
Absolutely.
so true.
So you bumped into your neighbor. Seemed like a nice guy, and he
Yeah.
said, "How you doing?"
Well, when I first moved to my area, I bonded with their family. They became a second set of parents to me and my children. And I was always so grateful for them. And, one thing led to another, and I realized that, wow, wait a second, Rick has written books before, let's see if he'll join me. And
So Rick, how did you start to even? Did you know Rick was an author, or did you just find that out after you met each other? What was?
No, I did know, but it wasn't like he was on tour. I knew a lot about his background and about his books about the military police. So that's when I put it together and asked him, hey, would you be interested in joining me on a kid's book?
The challenge for me is, although I have written poetry before and the book is in poetic form, I have not written poetry since college. And so when Bob approached me and said the former book he was involved in, The Glove of Their Own, was in poetry, and that's the way he wanted to do Beyond the Laces, I said, you know what, I see it as a writer a challenge here, and I'd love to be able to write poetry again.
Boy, that's terrific. And you touch again another part of youth soul. I think sometimes we forget that they're very poetic themselves. I mean, they have a real liveness to life, and they see life in many, and they see God in many ways, which is a
Absolutely.
beautiful
Absolutely.
thing to realize that. You know, when you talk about poetry, and you make me think that back in high school. I never could really get into the real poetry, but I used to love to hear Damon Runyon and his kind of poems about boxers and horse players, and then one day I memorized a poem which really affected my life, just like your book is going to affect a lot of other lives. And it was called Up Again, Down Again, about a boxer who got knocked down, and every verse he kept getting up. And of course, the last verse he wins the fight. So, and that stayed in me. And sometimes just growing up, every once in a while I say, up again, down again. You got to get up again at 9.
Wow.
You know, it was always a kind of a rhythm. And then, of course, you attach that to the cross.
Absolutely.
And, you know, you see,
Absolutely.
you know, it's all there for us. The title, Beyond the Laces, that can mean an awful lot.
Yeah.
You know, but how'd you get the title, or you both athletes, or you're watching the games?
I was a little bit of an athlete, but I was never that person that was going to do it in college. You know, my passion. You know, I love sports, but I knew I wasn't going to the next level. I was way too slow. You know, way too slow. But I really enjoyed the game, and again, through this project, it was all about bringing kindness and helping kids. So I wanted to use sports, and I wanted to make it beyond the game, beyond the athlete. And I went over, Rick and I and a couple other my good friends said, you know, help me out. And we all just brainstormed for weeks, and it came to us, you know, Beyond the Laces. So Laces kind of goes with football, baseball, sports. So beyond the game, beyond the laces.
Tying your shoes on.
Tying your shoes.
You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You got to strap them up. You know, you
Absolutely.
want to
Get those cleats on.
That's it. You know, that's all.
Yeah.
That's all part of it.
Absolutely.
And you know, you can kind of say, you know, you just don't strap them up for what you strap them up for God too.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
which is now. Tell me a little bit about writing that. How did you just sit there together and just kind of go back and forth, go back and
Yes.
forth? And,
The process was, because I had co-written with Michael Bolyog, the Aiden's Cauldron trilogy, I had learned that you need to respect the other author. If he and I had a difference of opinion, it wasn't my book, and so it had to be my way. It was, how can we work this out so we have the best story? And that background foundation of co-writing a book was helpful with Bob and I. Literally walked across the street, and Bob and I sat down one afternoon, and Bob had the storyline complete. He had it on scraps of paper, some napkins from fast food places, wherever he got an idea, and was able to put it down. And he gave me those in a concise order. And what I did was, the editing process is really the writing process. You can get something down on paper, but it's to edit it, it's to fine tune it and make it as best as you can be. So I edited his ideas, and then once he was satisfied with that editing, I then sat down and actually started to write the poetry. Completed the writing of the poetry, gave it to Bob, and then we went back and forth over the span of 8 months.
Sure.
Bob would say, you know, I like this, but I don't like this. I like this word, but I like it softer or stronger. He knew what the story was in not only his head, but also in his heart. And again, because both Bob and I are Christians, we wanted that biblical foundation to be within the storyline. And so that was part of the process. And from the feedback we've gotten, the poetry works well with the storyline, and we're able to represent God's word through that. And that's very important for both of us.
When you were talking, Rick, a little bit ago about Bob putting down some notes on napkins,
Oh, yeah.
I said to myself, sounds like my homily writing.
Yeah. Yep.
Because sometimes thoughts just come to you. You know, you
Absolutely.
got to have a pencil all the time
Absolutely.
next to you.
Yeah, at one point Rick said, please, if you're going to bring McDonald napkins, try not to have ketchup on it. I was like, all right, Rick, sorry,
And sometimes early in the morning, you wake up and you say, I got to write this down before I forget it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, Monsignor, the Holy Spirit is not limited to time.
It doesn't go to sleep.
That's
It doesn't
correct.
go to sleep. That's
So,
funny.
how do you think the children will get something out of this? What is your dream of? Because it's written for them, but not just them. It's written for adults, because everybody. Is this true or not?
That's
Everybody's
correct.
got a child in their heart,
That is absolutely correct.
and everybody's got a story in their heart.
That is correct.
So maybe you can, just talk a little bit about how it affects the children.
The biblical issues of kindness and perseverance are lifelong applications. And so the story has really been written from the perspective of we'd like the parents to read it to the child. And so there's the interaction between the two to begin with, and the parent can then explain to the child those aspects of kindness and perseverance. And again, from a Christian family, the parent can reinforce the fact that these are biblical principles, which is tremendously important.
And such great stuff that I don't even know if you purposely did it that way, but the bonding.
Yes, we purposefully did that.
Kids, kids, and I hope the generations today are still reading books to kids, and the kids are saying, "Read it again, Daddy," and then when you forget the ending, they'll tell you the ending.
Yeah,
Yep,
exactly.
absolutely.
But God, what a powerful way of allowing God's love to kind of come right through into the family's hearts. I mean, it's
Absolutely.
unbelievable.
Sharing of the family, tremendously
Yeah.
important.
Wow. You're a correction officer.
I'm retired.
Well,
Thank you,
that's
thank you,
all
God.
But still, I
Yeah.
respect.
Thank you.
I respect. I do a little work at a hospital, and some of your fellas, are close to the work we
Yeah.
do. And I mean, you're talking about your kindness. I've seen a lot of kindness from the correction officers too, in the
Yes.
work they do, which is a beautiful
It's
thing.
rough. It's rough.
There's a lot of things in life are rough,
Yeah.
but we can make them a little smoother.
Absolutely.
I think,
Absolutely.
Tell me about did that influence your career, inspiring children and families through kindness?
I think it had a part. There was a piece of that because starting corrections at 20 years old, I've seen the journey of someone that has fallen.
Yeah.
And I've learned so much from them, from 18-year-olds to 80-year-old men talking to me because I've been there for 25 years in one place. So I realized, man, there's a lot of darkness there. And a lot of the journey started at young, when they were kids. So my thought was, why not take that negative, what's out there, and spin it for positive? Why not create something and really bring kindness to the kids at an early age, and again through sports because they love sports. And maybe if we could avoid one of those incidents of ending up there, I think it's worth the whole journey of all this. That's how we've always went into it. We put kids and people first, not fame, books, athletes. Those are byproducts of God's work. And that's the mindset Rick and I had from the beginning of this whole journey from when I approached him.
It just always comes out that when God gives you a gift, you have to give it away.
Yeah, absolutely.
And even in sports. That doesn't
Absolutely.
mean you can't be a gifted athlete and you can't enjoy the gift that God gave you. But it's got to be a gift that somehow transforms your life and transforms other lives as you keep getting older and older and older.
Absolutely.
That's it's just when you look at it and you realize what the power of poetry, the power of word, the power of kindness does to affect someone else. It's just an amazing thing. So law enforcement, and Rick, the work you've done in the past.
Amazing.
Speak a little bit about it if you can for us, huh?
I can honestly say that the United States Army gave me a career. When I joined the Army in 1967, I didn't join for any particular occupation. And somewhere in the computers of the Pentagon, I got assigned to the military police. As a result of that, it just opened up a career for me in law enforcement. So my bachelor's degree is in criminal justice from California State University at Los Angeles. And my experience in law enforcement has been helpful. Bob and I talk about this all the time in writing the story. People who make bad decisions, and in my case, criminal decisions, at some point in their life made through either act or omission that first bad decision that led to the direction that they went in. And it's our hope, especially because we do presentations to schools, if we can encourage students, even students in public schools where we also do presentations, to make wise decisions. Bob and I know wise biblical decisions, so that they don't make that first mistake that starts to lead them in the wrong direction. If we can affect positively one child, that he or she will make a wise decision and therefore avoid that, their lives will be changed. And again, having dealt with criminals, I can say from personal experience, they've said a number of times, in fact, I can remember one individual who actually thanked me for making the arrest because he couldn't get out of this any other way. And so it was a life-changing, hopefully positive life-changing situation, as unique as that is.
And you know, Rick and Bob, we say if it affects one child. I was going to say that's impossible because we're all so interrelated that if you do affect one child, that really affects the relationships of that child, that affects the family of that child.
That ripple effect.
I mean, that ripple effect just keeps going out and out and out, and maybe the next generation even, because all of a sudden now, instead of somebody who you're dealing with like you might have had to deal with them, now all of a sudden they can be a man and a woman who wants to be loved and share love and have a family. So now all of a sudden that tree
It's passed down to the next generation.
I mean, it does
It's
grow.
powerful.
I mean, that's the Lord's stories. I mean,
Amen.
we can talk about them forever.
Yeah.
But that's what are some of the messages that you like you want to get across to folks that you either give talks to or are listening to us or seeing us?
Sure. Kindness and perseverance, like Rick said, is a key to open up so many doors, because kindness goes with what? Love. Love goes with caring. And when you actually show people, giving away books, giving autographs, putting athletes involved and maybe calling a certain individual and making your day, kindness comes in so many forms. And if we concentrate on that and have something tangible and unite people, I think it's very powerful. Like you said, it keeps rolling, and that's what's happening.
So now it's not just the book, but now you're getting others to be involved in an entire project.
That is correct. That is correct.
Speak to us about that.
I'll let Bob speak about the athletes, but just to add to what Bob had said, the fruits of the Spirit in Paul's epistle to the Galatians, once you start with love, love expands into joy, peace, kindness, goodness, and so forth. And so, again, we see these biblical principles that can be applied into the lives of individuals. It's very strong and very impacting, and that's what we hope to do. That's really what we're trying to get across, is as we literally share Christ's love to the people we come in contact with.
Yeah, that's
And
the project.
I said this in my life probably too many times. If you could ever talk about God's love too many times. But to me, there's always that combination that I feel so strong about, that youngsters, all of us, but youngsters have to learn two sides of that love, that they can love and they can be loved.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes you see one or the other or none, but when they have both, all of a sudden there's a human person that's growing in an absolute beautiful way.
Absolutely.
But some people never learn that they can be loved. you
That's
know?
true.
And
It's powerful.
Without that, you cannot be complete.
right. And the compassion and the love that even all of us, I think, especially this year, feel very committed to that kind of a message for the. Any other messages that you have? I mean, love and compassion is at the heart of everything. But any other messages that you want to get across?
What's wonderful about this book, or that our team put together, you know, it's not about Bob, it's not about Rick, it's our team of good people. Without that team, there's no book. And again, what's great about our team is the messages, there's more than just 2, 3. Everyone's reading it and getting something different from it. And again, I give it to God because, you know, I had the vision of really just inspiring and loving kids and using the fame, like you said earlier. Through the journey, I said, so many people have the fame to either push a button or make a phone call, and they don't. They're focused elsewhere. And again, it's not our job to judge them. So my thing is, why don't we embrace them? In order to make change, you have to love. You can't point fingers. So my vision was to embrace, and when you embrace and, like we said, love, all different angles come from it. So as it's unfolding, I'll get an email or a call saying, you know what that book means to me, Bob? And I'm like, whoa, all right. I didn't realize that, but great, as long as it impacts you. So yes, love, kindness. There's God in there. There's kindness. There's love. There's not giving up.
And being part of a team.
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
The other thing is, we live in a very visual age with computers and so forth. The drawings that Ken Jones has done are just absolutely spectacular, colorful, and speak to the written word that we have on the opposite page. So it's the words plus the picture is very, very impacting, and the pictures help make the book applicable even to younger kids who may not fully understand everything. They need mom and dad to explain it, but the pictures gets the story across.
It really does. And Ken Jones is just, he has a talent, and more importantly, his heart is for this project. He didn't focus on, you know, him or a paycheck. He was like, I'm all in, guys. And it's really our whole team, even the publisher, CMYK Printing. They funded the whole project and donated over 1,000 books from Charlie Ambrosio's own pocket because he loved what we're doing. It's just God sent this project. It really is. The pieces.
Never fails. Never fails.
It's just amazing.
Never fails.
Yep.
Tell me about the athletes. You gotten some athletes involved also that give talks and whatever?
Athletes, you know, when we started out the journey, we realized how, like we said, how powerful they are. So, you know, in the beginning, I started making calls and got hung up on a lot. And now it's all coming together. And athletes are really realizing that this is very powerful. And it's not about Bob. It's about really doing good. And, you know, we have Mark Brunell, quarterback, has been there from the beginning. It's not just football players, it's baseball too. We have Don Mattingly supporting us, and Doug Glanville from ESPN, and Bill Bates.
So tell us, how are they supporting you? Did they come out and meet with families, kids, go to hospitals, and how is that all being
different.
put together?
A lot of them have their own foundations.
Okay.
Jim Eisenreich won a World Series with the Marlins. He played for the Phillies. He had Tourette's growing up. So he used this platform to give out books or to use this platform to really just help kids. And a lot of other athletes, some give pictures, some use it. It's just uniting, you know, in all different ways.
Could you respond to a couple of questions or statements, I think, from your website? Where is the sport in sports? What do you mean by this?
The sport in sports is the enjoyment of the game. And what we've tried to do is to take that enjoyment, whether you're a participant or a spectator, and to be able to use your enjoyment of sports in such a way that we can get the message across that the book portrays to individuals.
Any other comment, Bob?
Yeah, that's it. It's really that's it. That's really it in a nutshell.
And not just enjoy the sport in sports, enjoy life in life.
That's correct.
You know,
Absolutely.
find the
Absolutely.
joy. When you find the
Absolutely.
joy, that's almost the secret to everything we do. I don't care
Absolutely.
Enjoy,
who,
yep.
you find
Yep.
the joy. That doesn't mean party.
Yeah.
Right.
It means find the joy.
Right.
I tell young kids getting married all the time, find the joy and keep the joy going all the time.
We,
It's just-
we must, yeah,
I was just going to say, and that joy really comes from the Holy Spirit. So
Yeah.
it's your walk with Christ in conjunction to your love of the sport.
Rick, can't say it any better. What advice do you give to parents to protect their child's blind side?
The parent always has to be involved with the child. You can't turn your back or walk away or pretend to not see something at any point. Whether the child is 6 months or 6 years, 16 years, or if you're able to live long enough, 60 years. If you talk to any parent, that child is always their child, regardless of the age. And to be involved in the life of the child, to continue to help them and to help safeguard them so that they're not blindsided. I think that's the biblical calling of a parent.
You know, I guess we can all sit back and thank God over and over again for our parents.
Amen.
I mean, I can't tell you how many times, you know, and we all were teenagers at one time. You go through the growing stage. But you know, you look back and you say, thanks, Ma. Thanks, Dad.
absolutely.
I still can remember how many times my mother said to me, which I'll never forget. She'd say, son, never disgrace your father's name.
Absolutely.
And you know what? That you know, those things just catch a hold of you. Tell me, what does it mean to coach like a champion on and off the field?
Well, it's really just give it your all, 100%. If you're going to coach, you're going to be present. Give your heart, give it everything you can, and that's our whole message through this project. In addition to, you know, what we discussed.
And when
Give it
we keep doing that, you know, the covenant of God it just grabs us. You know, God said, "I'll be your God. You're always going to be my son or daughter." And then you look at that, and whether it's a relationship, whether it's your work, whether you're studying, whether you're playing a sport, it's all part of that covenant, which is, "I'm your son. I'm your daughter. I'm going to show you how much I love you by loving this one, or loving that one,
Absolutely.
or receiving love from this one, or receiving love from that one."
And it's the essence of leadership. The basic definition of leadership is to go out in front and to guide others towards that.
Rick, Bob, thank you. A trillion. For more information on Beyond the Laces and this inspiring movement, go to their website, www.beyondthelaces.com. Look at it. Pray it. Share it. Don't miss out on just being a loving, kind, compassionate person. Guys, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.